Hey guys, it's Grant from Run.
Dawid from Pure Endurance.
And we've got some interesting data. So Dawid's finished his test. He's running a total of 9 different shoes from different genres, predominantly racing shoes and carbon plated shoes, as well as 1 or 2 traditional shoes so that we have a baseline comparison. And I mean, realistically, we found some pretty interesting data that's actually going to be relevant to the average person on the streets as opposed to just your elite runner right at the front.
Yeah. So basically we started off with a plated shoe, a traditional shoe, the Wave Rider, which is in the racing shoes, a training shoe as a baseline, and then from there we worked to with the other shoes to use that, and basically the time wise we used as a variance as that as the baseline. So we used that. I've used traditional running shoes, racing shoes, and carbon plated shoes, composite plated shoes, TPU or plastic plated shoes, and then just a stacked height or high stack shoe without a plate, just to have all the criteria in there so we can compare.
Absolutely. So I mean, the thing was that Dawid ran all of the shoes at a perceived effort of 7 on his Polar. So all of the shoes are run between 4:15 and 4:30 a kilometer, and that was so that we could actually measure heart rate, watts, perceived level of exertion, and not just look at time as a specific variable, because we wanted to see how these shoes relate to your average run at an average running speed as opposed to 2 minutes per kilometer for your elite.
Yeah, and it was done on a circular course, on a lap course. So every shoe was run the same course. The same nutrition was used prior to an hour prior to each run. A packet of cheese, 160 calories, and about 250 milliliters of water. Just the baseline of energy is put there as well, and we obviously looked at calories burned, etc. So to see what's the most efficient shoe.
Absolutely. So Dawid's going to go through all the technical aspects of some of the different products and do some of the comparisons. But I mean, the 4 major things that we found actually would benefit the average guy was that a reduction in weight in the shoe obviously translated into a faster time. Now, that's been known for a while. We know that every 100 grams that we reduce in weight under the pendulum, under the knee, makes the footwear more efficient. For a slower runner, or not a slower runner, but an average runner, a more flexible plate actually seems to be more beneficial than a stiff rigid plate. And while a stiff rigid plate might still be more beneficial for your guy trying to go sub 2 or going
sub 2.5 hour marathon,
sub 2.5 hour marathon, for your average guy who's looking for a shoe for an upbeat tempo run or your daily sort of racer, a more flexible plate actually seems to be possibly more beneficial.
Yeah. So basically, the speed that I ran at was a comfortable pace for me, without going under 4 minutes a k. Because under 4 minutes a k is a different set of criteria, and normal Joe Soap out there is aiming to run a 3.5 or 4 hour marathon. So that's over 4 minutes a k. So under 4 minutes a k, that's a different test that we can do, but we've got some feedback on that obviously a stiffer plate is more beneficial there, but that's going to more elite side than the majority of the runners out there. So for me personally, I found that obviously fit becomes a very important aspect of the shoe. So the shoe fits better, the shoe, the feedback that you get at the midsole, and actually kind of it motivates you and you want to run faster with a shoe. So basically there's a lot of criteria and a lot of information that we got out of it, but basically from all the shoes that are out in the market at the moment, we found that the Saucony Endorphin Speed, which is not a carbon, which is a composite or TPU plated shoe, is actually the fastest out of all the shoes that we tested. Absolutely. And that's compared to a Nike, compared to a Meta Racer, compared to Hoka's, etc. And we're talking about shoes that are more or less between 2.5 to 3,500 rand price point.
Yeah, absolutely. We didn't want to compare anything at the 5,000-6,000 rand price point for shoes, because that's just not accessible to your traditional athlete. Perhaps a sponsored individual, but that sponsored individual is not running 430 a k. So again, maybe not completely a relative test. So without going into those exorbitant sort of price brackets.
And I mean, we wanted to make the information valid for a person that actually wants to go buy a shoe. And did you actually say to you, like, if you want to spend 3,500 rand in a shoe, this is criteria wise the best type of shoe that you must buy. It's no use to buy a 5.5 grand shoe if you're going to run at a certain pace. So what value for money, what it basically comes down to. So strangely enough, so like I said, with all the criteria, with the wattage, heart rate, so obviously with higher wattage, lower heart rate, and faster speed it shows more economic.
Makes you more efficient as a brand.
So the Saucony was tops. Shortly followed by that was the Hoka Rocket X. We didn't use that. What was the other one? The
Carbon X. Yeah.
Carbon X. We didn't use that one because this is more of a traditional or more of a racing shoe than the other one. And then thirdly to that, compared to some of the other shoes, was the Mizuno Aero, which is actually it's a plated shoe, but it's a lower stack up, more traditional feeling plated shoe. And I mean at like $2,500, less than $2,500 retail, it's actually a very good value for money. It just depends what you want at the end of the day out of the shoe.
So Dawid also did test a prototype of a shoe which was a little bit quicker than everything else, but that shoe's only going to launch later in the year.
Second half of the year, there's a limited amount coming into the country. Run Store will probably most likely have some of them. Once that launches, we'll put that data out there. But basically what it all comes down to at the end of the day is higher stack height, more traditional drop,
absolutely,
flexible plate is where you find the benefit.
And lightweight.
Yeah, and lightweight. That's where you find
absolutely.
the benefit out of it. It just comes down to basically at the end of the day what fits on your foot, what you feel more comfortable. Some of the shoes are narrower, some of them are wider. And I actually felt that some of the plated shoes it's too narrow for me, and I've got quite a traditional shaped foot and size foot. That actually hampers performance. So at the end of the day, what is comfortable actually is one of the leading criteria for any shoe's performance.
Absolutely. We've always said fit and feel probably above anything else. Don't buy a shoe on a brand or a perceived benefit from the shoe if it's actually not going to fit your foot or work for your needs.
Yeah. And guys, also just to remember here, all these shoes, none of it was sponsored. Everything was purchased. I paid for all of the shoes myself. It's nothing. So we're not telling you being biased towards a specific brand. It was purchased. It was purely the test was done to give you, as the consumer, the best data.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like you said, we'll do some more tests. We're going to do some gait analysis on some of the shoes and do some comparatives there. Later in the year, we'll reveal that prototype shoe that was running as well. We'll review some of the test data from that as well. But we hope that you at least found some of this stuff interesting. Please comment, ask us questions. We've got some other information that we can share some of the actual stats, but we don't want to go into all of that.
Yeah, it's going to take too long. And I mean, if you want more of the information, you can come in. You can speak to Grant as well to get. He knows all the shoes that were tested, or you can speak to me when you see me around.
Awesome, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Cheers.